Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel for a little card tutorial. Now it's not a new card tutorial, I've already done this one before, but seeing as now my time as a Graphic 45 brand ambassador has begun, I thought I'd have a look back at some of my card designs and give them a little Graphic 45 twist. So I've already made this one, which is my Dutch fold card. So you may have already seen this, but I gave it a little twist because I added a pocket on the inside. So this is my pocketed Dutch fold card. And I made this with the papers left over from my first Graphic 45 project, which was my Let It Be little album. So I thought, I've shown you how to make it with digital papers. Let's show you how I did it with the Graphic 45 and how I use up my bits. So we're gonna have a look back through some of my card tutorials and just Graphic 45 them. So I've been working on this Cal Summers sub box album using Splash of the Make a Splash. So I thought, whilst I've got lots of bits left over, including some full sheets, I thought, let's make one of my Dutch fold cards using it. Now I've also, because I did cheat on that one, if you've seen the walkthrough for that album, I didn't do a lot of the fussy cutting. I used the ephemera pieces instead because I had them in my brand ambassador box. So let's have a look at how we can take some of the card designs I've made and Graphic 45 them. And it's a great way of using up all those leftover bits from your albums. So to begin with, I'm going to use black as my card base, and I'll be using this amethyst purple just to add some matte and layers. So that helps your paper go further, but also this card is very, very sturdy because you've got the black cardstock as the base and the yellow cardstock here as your matte and layers. So my black piece, and as you can see, I got all mine from one A4 sheet because I do like to maximize my use. So first thing I did was I cut a 5 3/4 piece from my A4. So I cut it at 5 3/4, and then I cut it at 9.5. So this is 5 3/4 by 9.5, and the piece left over was exactly right for me, which was 2.5. Let me just measure. Yeah, 2.5. Oh, actually, I do need to trim it off. I can get a 2.5 piece from the bottom. So 2.5. If I'd left it as it was, the measurements would. Oh no, it is 2.5. That's good. 2.5. Then this bit I'm going to cut up in a bit. I just use that to show you how I got my two pieces from one sheet. Then with my scoreboard, I'm going to make a 5 3/4 inch square card. So with a long piece at the top, I'm going to score at 5 3/4. I'll fold up. Now the reason I do it at 5 3/4 is it'll fit into a 6x6 envelope, but what I find with 6x6 is when you buy a 6x6 card pack, the card's actually slightly smaller than 6x6. So because we've got quite a bit of depth to this, especially with that pocket and at the overlap, it's got quite a bit of bulk. So this will still fit into a 6x6 envelope. And then our long piece, if it was a 6x6, I'd just do it 3 and 9. But because we've gone down 1/4 inch, we need to come back 1/8. So it's 2 and 7/8. So wherever you're 3 inches, just come back 1, score. And I find it's easy just to rotate and repeat. So this is the sort of barn door look. So the two come in like so. And now that is the same width as my card. So that is the whole base piece already done. So normally I would have glued this on now, but with my Graphic 45, I'm going to take the paper behind this pocket. So I'm actually going to decorate that piece first. So let's start doing our mats and layers. That's all I'm going to do is take whatever space I am decorating and making it 1/4 of an inch less. So nice amethysty colour to pull out the purples in the cardstock. You can see that Make-A-Wish upon a star fish matches quite well. So my card is 5 3/4. So that would be 5 3/4. So I'm going to go back to 5 1/2. So now that is 1/4 of an inch shorter than my card base. The flap coming down is 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut it at 3 1/2. Now with my original Let It Be one, I did take some distress ink and I inked the edge of my cardstock as well. Just because of the yellow, it just added a little extra bit of depth to it. So that then will glue onto there. And I'm going to need another one for the top here. So another one of 3 1/2. So you don't need to use thick cardstock here because you're adding so many mats and layers that thin cardstock or even thin paper will build up and give you quite a sturdy card. Okay. So those two are in place. And then this piece left over, I can glue there. I'm not too worried about the depth because that is going to cover it. And I'm not going to be able to use any bit from there anyway, so I'm not even going to bother to cut it. Oh, but what I haven't done is inked it. So let me do that carefully. Now, the reason I did ink my original one is the cardstock I used was a little bit chalky and I found the fibres were showing. So by inking the edge, it sort of hides all the rough cuts and makes your card just look a little bit more professional. So there we go. So now we're going to move on to this piece. And if I remember correctly, it was 2 1/2 tall. Yeah. So we're going to cut this at 2 1/4. So this was quite an awkward little measurement here, just because we had that 1/8 less. So this time I'm going to come 1, 2, so 2 5/8. So it's 2 1/2 and an extra 1/8. 1, 2 1/2 and an extra 1/8. 2 1/2 and an extra 1/8. So I need 4 of these because I'm going to put them on the front as well. The extra 1/8. So we're just going to ink. bit more ink. And I just need one more piece of purple. So it's 2.5, so 2.25. By 5.5. And this is the one that goes on the front of my pocketed piece. Put the trimmer away for now, and let's just glue these bits on. So this just went in the middle here, and then we had 4 rectangles. Just on the barn doors. Bit of excess glue there. It'll dry clear, but I can just rub it off later. I guess the nice weather we're getting in the UK at the moment, we're just not used to our glues and how they act in warm weather. We're usually more worried about the cold. There we go. And there's my barn door. Now, you could, of course, skip this piece with the purple matting, and you could just use your papers. That would work fine too. So that would be the measurements you'd use for that. So let's have a look at what I want to do. So as I said, I'm going to be using up some scraps. So I've still got a full sheet of that one, and that one is really, really nice. So I'm thinking that could actually look quite nice. The purples inside here as the backing. I could even use a bit of that. I think I will, because I've got 2 sheets of that left over, because I think I've got some more fussy cutting to do. I've still got a full sheet of that one, which I could use because the purple ties in with the hair and everything. Oh, and I love the scales one. But let's have a look at what little pieces I've got first of all. So let's see if we can use some of these. Let's have a look. So I've still got some ephemera pieces, so if I need to treat at the end, I might use them. So we've got some nice, graph 45, I don't do the journal cards anymore, but these image sheets, let's have a look if I've still got one of the image sheets left over. You know the sheets I'm talking about with the, lots of images sort of on a sheet like this? Well, you can cut them out into cards, and the back are just like the journal cards used to be. So let's have a bit of ink in on this one, and we'll use that one later on inside the pockets. So you can still make your own journal cards. Right, let's have a look. I'm looking for something landscape. So that would, yeah, let's go. That one would be a good one. And if I'm correct, I think, yeah, I even almost used this on the front of this journal. So I've already got a little piece as well. Right, so this is going to be my main image on the front. And I've got a little decoupage piece for it as well. So let's put that aside. I do like this, so I think I'm going to use this possibly on the bottom. Now, Make a Star Wish actually fits nicely in between that. So let's use that. So see, what I'm doing is looking through my papers and seeing what fits. What have I got left that I want to use? is that going to be enough to cover 2 pieces? Yes, it is. So actually, should we start with that then? Let's move the journal out of the way. So now I'm just going to go down 1/4 inch again. So these were 2.5. The purple was 2.25. So my pieces are going to be 2 inches tall. And that'll fit onto that purple there. And this was that awkward size one. So I will need to rescue my ruler from all these scraps. 2 5/8. So this time it's 2 3/8. So let's hopefully we're going to fit both of them out. 2 3/8. 2 and just perfect. And I do like these text papers. I think they do add to your cards because it's like adding a greeting without having to add a greeting. So we've got 2 pieces there. Now I'll decide later if we're going to put them on the inside or the outside. Let's see what other scraps we have. Also, I've got more of that one, but it's, as you can see, it's not long enough. But what you could do is you could do a Franken style page, and what you can do is put a little strip from something else, or a thin strip each side, or cut it down a little bit more. I think I did a Franken page in my album. Yeah, here we are, where I got a strip here, 1 image card, and a strip there. So that's what I mean by a Franken page or Franken layers. So we've got this again, but again, it's not wide enough for what I want, but it might come in handy for going there. So let's go for the big pieces first then, and then I'll have a look what scraps, because I may create some new scraps from that. Oh, there's one there. Ah, this is a non-direction one, which could work. Not enough purple in it for me. Right. Card base, 5 3/4. Purple, 5 1/2. So this is going to be 5 1/4. This piece needs to be just about 3 inches. So I'm going to go 3 1/4 just to make sure I've gone down enough. And then on the top, I would put a 3 1/4 piece. Well, actually, so I've done that one, a 3 1/4. But if you've seen my Let It Be one, you'll notice I used a little strip across there. That's because I made a little tuck spot there. And because I did that, this piece didn't need to be as long. So let's stick this piece down first to there. So if I do this, let's have a look. Where are the stripes? I'm sure I had some nice stripy paper left over. You can tell this is off the cuff crafting for you to see how I do things. Ah, I knew I had some. So if this is, yeah, I can cut some 1 inch strips from this. So if I go to 2 inches, yeah, definitely we've got plenty for 1 inch strips. So let's cut it here. So I'm using my pattern rather than a size. I've looked for where my pattern has got a natural place to cut. So these two together need to make a 3 1/4, isn't it? So there's 3 1/4. Let's just go a little bit extra so I can tuck it behind. There we go. So that means I've still got another piece here which will fit somewhere else. So I'm only going to ink the top and the 2 sides. Oh, I haven't cut this yet. So this needed to be 5 1/4. Oh, and that's worked out nicely as well. I've got the Make-A-Wish complete there, and the Make-A-Wish upon a starfish going all the way across. Just hiding that white core with my black ink. So I think I am in a position now to actually start gluing some of these pieces down. So that's there, and that's there. So I'm just leaving an even border across the top and the 2 sides. Do the same with this. There we go. And then with this one, I mean, it's up to you. You could just stick it down, but I'm going to glue a U shape. So that means now what I've done is created a pocket. So my pocketed Dutch fold has now got 2 pockets. So do I keep going with this purple inside? Or do I bring that in? Do what? If I cut it, I can always change my mind, can't I? So the height of these were 2 inches. So let's go for 2 inches there as well. Right. Let's glue on this base. So I'm turning it to the back, and again I'm doing a U shape. This is what's making my pocket for my Dutch fold. And is that too much? Do I just keep it like so? Or do I bring that in? Ooh, choices now. Have I got something else? So, you know, we're really trying to use up what we've already got rather than trying to cut into something else. So what are we thinking? I suppose whatever I do, somebody's going to be shouting out, no, do that. I think I'm going to stick to the purples. Oh, I haven't inked it again because I hadn't decided which side. Okay. Yeah, lots and lots of purples. I've already inked these ones earlier, haven't I? And as I said, this is where now those journal cards would fit in there. So I'm not going to do it yet because the glue hasn't dried. But what I do have is, I do have these small images which I could mat and layer Actually, do you know what? I think as this is a so purpley, let's go for it. I've got some black scrap cardstock left as well from doing my album. So here's some sheets. You can see I've got tapes and stuff from bits which went wrong. So I'm just going to line up in the corner. Grab my scissors, and I'm sort of just creating my own embellishments using some of those tiny images. Seize the day, there we are. And I'm not going to glue it all the way to the top because it's going to overlap my pocket. There we go. And so now we've got that big pocket there. We've got a little pocket here as well. So that's the inside. And I did pick, yes I did, didn't I? I picked this to go there. But obviously I need a piece. Do I go for something really busy? Or let's matte and layer this. I still got some of the purple left. And I'm just gonna trim around it. So I'm not measuring, I'm just going by eye this time. And then onto some black. So this is now strong enough. I could create this into a proper topper with 3D foam and everything. I'm just going to use my scissors this time. And I've got some of those decoupage elements, so let's grab some foam tape. So now I've got my topper. I know what I'm playing with to put onto some of the papers. So let's have a look. Do I cut into some of this? This is one of my favourite papers. I do like that one. And then we can bring the mermaids in on the bottom. Or do I have something? Oh, this was the image sheet I was telling you about. But one of the sheets comes with journal cards on the back. I haven't found that one yet. Here it is. So this is a piece from that journal page, and when you cut them, you get your journal cards. I haven't got a piece big enough, so let's go for that scales. So let's just double check. It was 3 3/4, 3 1/2, so we're looking at 3 1/4. And it was 5 3/4, 5 1/2, so 5 1/4. Just into the edge. And because I've got some depth already, I'm going to stick this flat. I think I'm going to have to use some of this. So these were that awkward sized one again. So the card was 2 7/8, so we went back to 5/8, so now it's 2 3/8, wasn't it? And that's the wrong way round. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yes, 2 3/8. And the height was 2.5. Just double check. 2.5. Yeah, so these need to be 2 inches. So because I've got some enough paper here, I'm going to look for where I can get the mermaids in there. So this is my 2 inches. So if I do it there, I'm cutting off her head. So I'm going to bring it down. So I'm getting her head in. I'm going to turn it around so that I've got my 3 mermaids all playing around there. And just a final bit of ink in. Oh, this is the back of the same paper I used there. No wonder they went so well together. Because with the graphic 45 papers, the front and back do tend to match nicely. So we've got some more mermaids coming in. And closes. And now it's a case of you could use your glossy accents. I've got some white 4mm and 6mm pearls I could add to add some more to it. Or being graphic 45, you've got things you can snip into. You could fussy cut some of these mermaids, add them to the front. So let's have a look at, have I got some of this paper somewhere? Yes, I have. So let's maybe cut some more shells. And of course you'd be able to take a bit more time about this than I am. Just I'm looking for where I can find some complete shells. And I'm working around, I don't know why I chose this anemone, because his spikes are a pain to cut through. Go, and if I cut away this big blue bit as well, I'll get the scales coming through from that paper. So we can add them up there. Could add them down here if I'd glue them down there. That's sort of bringing things out from that topper. So yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to take it. There we go. And so I need something to come up that way. Let's have a look. So we've got some shells. And this starfish, seeing as we've got that starfish sentiment. So I can cut him out whole as well. And some of these shells are a bit fiddlier than others. So I'm just going to do it really quickly. Normally I would have taken a bit more time to go around that shell, but some of this black soot then just sort of hides any of those bits I haven't done. So we can bring that in. So we're sort of bringing that topper into our card. So there we have it. We have our pocketed Dutch fold card. Let's just maybe add a couple of pearls actually. Where should we add some? Up the top there. Should just add them in the rule of 3, is it? Got 3 pearls there. I might just add some down here as well. And let's add some glossy accents as well. Just do some of these shells. I'm not going to do it to every one. So just this one will stand out. This one's in the front as well. Let's just do all the front row, is it? So here we go. And the starfish at the end. So that will then end up nice and shiny. So those front ones will stand out. We've got some nice little pearls. I need to be extra careful now opening this up. We've got space inside to add those little journal cards, so you could write some extra messages in there. And room for the larger journal cards in here. But of course, what you could also do, sorry, it's getting hard to show you now because I'm trying not to let the glossy accents hit the floor. You could make your own journal cards just with some white card and use your scrap pieces and glue them on, and you could tuck them in. So I hope you enjoyed this video and showing you what you can do when you've got some sheets left over from some larger projects. So this was using leftovers from my first Graphic 45 Ambassador project. This was leftover from a Cal Summer sub box project. But you can see definite special cards. So hope you've enjoyed, and hopefully you've been inspired maybe to have a little go now that I've shown you how to make it using paper packs. And if you do have a go, I'd love for you to share with me in my Facebook group, Paper Crafting with Paul. If you just go onto Facebook and type Paper Crafting with Paul, my group will pop up. Just answer the couple of questions and you'll be in. You'll find lots of inspiration there, lots of extra things, and see how other people have used my tutorials. And please leave a comment below if you've enjoyed this and you've watched it all the way to the end. Really do appreciate the comments. I try to answer them all. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and those like buttons. Really does help my channel. So thank you for watching my Graphic 45 pocketed Dutch fold card video.